Sorry, I'm just getting myself together. But I know we got um Cavs Pistons game 3 getting ready to kick off right now. If I'm not mistaken. Um yeah, probably kicking off right now. When I just came out, it was Indiana and I don't even know who the hell they playing WNBA game, and UFL was going on as well. Prayers for my son, my 11-year-old. His asthma been bothering him this weekend. He had his masquerade ball, 5th grade masquerade ball last night. That was dope. I don't even remember if I got a chance to tell y'all about my baby girl's my same 11-year-old son. On Tuesday, he had a Cinco de Mayo concert, and that same night, my baby girl, my 7-year-old, she had her first art gallery. That was dope. She didn't win nothing, but Daddy took care of it. We gonna have our own art gallery tonight, um, this evening, where it's gonna be all featured Jody Shantae artwork, and yeah. So she created her own certificate, her own first, second, third place. She even created a fourth place. So I guess that's gonna be the honorable mention. But I can't wait to do that with her later. Celebrate her. Um, Last night, my son and them 5th graders, man, they had a ball. I was chaperoning. It was cool. It was funny as hell looking at them kids, man. They out there dancing to New Edition. They requesting Telephone Man, Poison. Man, the teacher, she had to get up and go do something. So she had a kid, DJ. Bruh put on what he put on? Bro put on Kiko Love. They ain't know what it was because it was a YouTube version at first. So it was Keisha and Tyrese talking in the car. Man, when that beat dropped, they started. Boy, them kids is hilarious, bro. Hilarious for real. But it was a good time. It was a good time. But his asthma's been acting up since. So hoping and praying. Last night was a fairly well night for when his asthma messes up. Um, So we hoping and praying we done got through half of today. We can get through tonight and tomorrow and tomorrow night, and Monday we'll get him seen. He has his allergy shots on Monday, so Monday we'll get him seen. So please, if you don't mind, keep my baby boy in your prayers. Um, Keep my 4-year-old in his prayers, cause y'all know that episode I did. Our parents did it wrong. Yeah, ever since I did that episode, I've been having to do it wrong. Cause man, my 5-year-old, I said 4, but my 5-year-old, he's going through a transition, and he gotta just gotta keep on praying. But thank you. What's happening? What's happening, man? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And then my last but not least, my firstborn, my 17-year-old, he had a big man camp slash or big man competition slash trench wars competition today in Troy. Um, They got second place. The school that hosted got first. So you know how that goes. Schools that hosted. You know what I'm saying? Waco High really won that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. Proud of the Lions, man. But yeah, man. He did well. He did well. So let's get into these games. I purposefully did not come to y'all Thursday night after the Laker game because I was pissed the fuck off. As I told y'all, this ain't no play shit. Okay. I'm not no Bron Laker fan. Okay. I'm not even a Kobe Laker fan. I am a Laker fan. Yes, Kobe Bean Bryant is my GOAT, the greatest of all time. That's my guy. I was a Laker fan before Kobe, just slightly before. I was just born in '87, but slightly before Kobe, I was a Laker fan. Why was I a Laker fan? Because Tupac made me love LA. So that's why. But Kobe made me fall in love with the Lakers. I loved basketball before Kobe. Kobe made me fall in love with basketball and made me give my all to it in those middle school and high school years. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm a real Laker fan. I was thinking last night how um I was thinking about the Spurs, how fortunate and lucky these motherfuckers been, because I heard Dirk say it, right? And then I know y'all would say, bro, you a Laker fan. What the fuck are you talking about? No, think about this shit. The Spurs got gifted David Robinson to end the 80s going into the 90s. Then because of his obligations, he ain't even really play. So they get David Robinson. Then to end the 90s, so they're competitive throughout the 90s. To end the 90s going into the 2000s, they're gifted Tim Duncan. This nigga gets them in the championship in 2 years, and they didn't stop competing for championships for a fucking decade and a half. Because the gap was Kawhi, who they got in the early 2010s, who helped carry them along throughout, down there basically just the rest of Timmy's career. Then Kawhi's gone. They had their first dip in the late 2010s since the 80s. Like their first dip stretch. We're not talking about a bad season or this and that, but a stretch. Like we're talking about 3 years, right? They had their first dip in the late 2010s. And then to kick off the 2020s, early 2020s, they get gifted Wembanyama. And now they might be a team that skips the huddle. The only superstars that were such generational guys where you skipped the process, Magic, well first Kareem, then Magic, which Kareem benefited from as well, and then Tim Duncan. That's it. That's literally all I can think of. You could say Shaq. You could say Shaq, but Shaq actually went through a struggle. Because Shaq was drafted in '92. Shaq got them. MJ definitely went through a struggle. Jordan, I'll get to Jordan in a minute, but Jordan definitely went through a struggle. I'm talking about basically you won a championship immediately. I can't add Wemby to that list yet because we're talking Kareem won a championship, I think, in his second or third year. Magic won a champion, and even though Kareem didn't win no more in Milwaukee, he went to LA and continued winning, like I said, because of Magic, who Magic won it as a rookie, and Tim Duncan in his second year. So the reason I can't add Shaq to that list yet, or I can't add Shaq to that list, and I can't add Wemby yet, is because of course Wemby hasn't won it yet. But Wemby convinced me midway through this season that because of him and the depth of the Spurs, they can win it this year. And they're not supposed to. They haven't even been to the playoffs, right? But with Shaq, the reason why Shaq can't be added to that list is because Shaq got drafted in '92. His third year, he made it, but he got swept. Well, then I like that you mentioned D Wade, and I'm gonna get to why D Wade isn't on this list. And I love D Wade, especially '09. I feel like 2009 D Wade is one of the greatest individual players of all time. But I'm gonna get to why Wade can't be on this list. But I like that you brought that up. I appreciate that. That's my dog. Got dogs. I appreciate that. That's another loyal follower and I think subscriber. I don't know if you subscribed yet or not, bro. But if you have, I appreciate you. If you haven't, go ahead, man. Come part of the family. But I appreciate you. Shaq got there in '95. He got swept. He came back for one more year and he left. Came to LA and we lost. You know what I'm saying? '97 swept, '98 swept, '99 swept. Like Shaq had to go through a struggle in LA before we got on top. With D Wade, wouldn't have even thought of D Wade being on this list because it's usually listed for big man, except for Magic. Magic is the one difference maker, right? He's the 6'9" point guard. D Wade, you're absolutely right. He was drafted in '03. 3 years later, he led the Heat to a world championship. And that finals, like that's something that I don't talk about enough. I'm always mentioning the greatness of the 2009 season that Dwayne Wade had, how he could have been the MVP, how he was like the best player in the world, how he was one of the best players ever. But what I fail to recognize and acknowledge as much is that 2006 finals in D Wade magnificent. Again, I'm a Laker fan in Waco, Texas. I hate everything Dallas. I can't stand the Cowboys. I'm an Eagles fan too. Can't stand the Cowboys and can't stand the Mavericks. Even though, you know, I've always loved Luka. I told Mavericks fans when Luka was drafted that they just got the most generational player in this draft, and that was Marvin Bagley draft. So I really wanted and thought that Marvin Bagley could be the best player, but after Luka. And you know they got Coop and hell, they just got Urji, Masai. The day after I was mentioning him, the Mavericks hire him. Like, and I just know that he's gonna bring them, you know, some level of greatness, especially built around Coop. I really hate it. I really hate it. I do wonder how long Kidd will be there. I think Jason Kidd's a great coach, but I could be biased. You know, I've told y'all before my top five favorite players of the '90s in order: Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Jason Kidd, Shaq, and Scottie Pippen. Those were my top five guys that I wanted to be. Penny, I wanted to be Penny. Um, you know, Grant, that was Duke, and I loved him because he's a 6'8" point guard essentially. Um, Jason Kidd, a 6'4" actual point guard. Plus, we both light skinned, green eyes. That's my guy. My little cousins used to call me Jason Kidd. Shaq, because the world wanted me to be Shaq because I was bigger than everybody, but I love Shaq Attack in Orlando. You know, he was, you know, it was something great to see. And then Scottie Pippen, simply because the Bulls were the winners, and I wasn't a Jordan fan. I liked Pippen. Again, that point, that tall point type. You know what I'm saying? Charles Barkley was my guy for real though. That was my guy for real, for real. I had some OGs that used to call me Barkley. Um, Bro, we're not getting swept. It's still Lakers in seven. Damn it. Until it ain't, it is. God damn it, Lakers in seven. Shit. I don't know what the fuck you talking about, nigga. We about to win tonight. It's in LA. Got me fucked up, nigga. We in crip time. But anyway, uh D Wade ain't on that list because yes, he did what he did in '06, but the struggle happened and it really happened kind of with injuries and stuff, but they were bad enough where they were able, actually the Bulls were bad enough where they were able to draft D Rose. They were just bad enough to where the click up of Braun, Wade, and Bosh was able to happen in Miami instead of say Chicago or New York or wherever, right? But D Wade is a very good one, but that was just a different team, right? I mean, because one could say, in that sense, maybe Kareem doesn't belong because he didn't win nothing else in Milwaukee. He had to go to LA and get Magic. And that's definitely understandable. However, Kareem's dominance throughout that time in Milwaukee going into LA was unmatched and like it's not even up for debate. Duncan, of course, it was sustainable throughout. Um, we'll see with Wimby. We'll see. It's interesting because this ain't supposed to be happening. But let's get to that Thunder Laker game, man. I don't even want to talk about officials. I hate talking about officials. I hate blaming officials. I'm not blaming officials. We had 20 something turnovers. We were missing threes. DeAndre Ayton was ass. For Austin to have a bounce back game in his first Austin like game of the playoffs, for LeBron to continue to be consistent with what he's been providing, um, it sucked. It really sucked to lose that game because second game straight we shut down Shea. At one point, I think it was late in the third quarter, they were minus 10 with Shea on the court. No, I'm sorry. They were plus 10 with Shea off the court and minus 1 with him on the court. That shit don't make sense. There's nothing about that that makes sense, man. That makes sense. There's nothing about that that makes sense. Game one, I was hopeful throughout the whole game, and then the fourth, we just ran out of gas. But in this game too, bro, we literally should have won this game, bro. But okay, see, they got that switch, and the fact that they got it and they can have it with or without Shea, because we held Shea to his first and only game this season under 20 points in game one, and then in game two he only had 22 that he got late in the fourth. Like, bro, I think he got 22 with like 5 minutes left in the game. It's ridiculous, man, that we're doing our job. We don't have an answer for Hardenstein, which is fucking insane to say. We don't have an answer for Chet. That's who we ain't got an answer for. Hardenstein doing his thing, but we ain't got an answer for Chet. Um, yeah, it sucks, man, because I like OKC, but I hate watching them, and I'm not the type that hates greatness. I told y'all that before. It was the second quarter was great, and it gave me hope. I almost said something at halftime, but I'm superstitious and I didn't say it. And once the fourth quarter hit, I was like, I should have said it. I should have said it. I should have said it. Cause maybe, see, my thought at halftime was if I say this, it's gonna go bad, so I'm not gonna say it. Well, it turns out me keeping it to myself it went bad, so I should have said it. Maybe it would have went how I wanted it to go. But it was basically me knowing how important third quarters are, and yeah, third quarter we lost the game. It's tough, man. It's tough. I'm really hoping that Favor is on our side tonight. I honestly do not see us getting swept. Um, I can't say that I would bet that we wouldn't get swept because if anybody can sweep through the first two rounds of these playoffs, it's the Thunder. And this is why getting that third spot was so important for us. Because even now, I will say I'm not as confident now as I was 2 weeks ago. But right now, but right now, still, I'm still confident that if we were the 3 seed and we were facing San Antonio, we would have had to beat Minnesota. But like I said, Minnesota was riding some adrenaline too. They really wanted Denver because first off they don't like them, and second off they felt like Denver chose them. But if we would have been that third seed, got past Minnesota, which I feel we would, we didn't get past them last year, even though this year without Luka. I feel like we could have beat San Antonio. I feel like getting to that third seed, we wouldn't have had to face the Thunder to the Western Conference Finals, and yeah, we could have probably still lost in 4, 5, 6, but we would have been better prepared. But to have to face these motherfuckers in the second round after they just swept Phoenix and were well rested, it's tough. But I'll be goddamn if I ain't gonna keep screaming Lakers in 7. Man, it's crazy, bro. Like, because I like Chet, but Chet ain't this dominant. You know what I'm saying? But there's no answer for him. And it's idiots talking about, yeah, y'all ain't got Luka, but they ain't got J Dub. If you don't shut your dumb ass the fuck up, we ain't got Luka. So how about y'all have J Dub and Shea sit his ass down? The problem is, like I said, we shut Shea down. In that game, at one point in time, late in that game, they were +10 with Shea not in the game, -1 with them in the game. So that logic is tough. Just like they were talking about how the logic of, yes, while the Lakers have a point and a gripe, there were some terrible calls. That one where Braun didn't get that and one, it was just so fucking blatant. But it's like, is this the time? Because Shea's only taking like 2 or 3 free throws. It's tough, man. It's really fucking tough. It's really fucking tough. See my mom pulling up with my son. But yeah, man. Oh no, that ain't her. But yeah, man, I was just too pissed off to talk to y'all that night, man. Let's talk about James fucking Harden. You see, this has been a whisper for a while. I've been loud at times and calmed down at other times because I've wanted to like James so much because I loved him in OKC. I understood him going to Houston. It wasn't him. It was Sam Presti. Sam chose Serge Ibaka because Serge Ibaka was a 6'9" rim protector who, after he gave Serge Ibaka that money, became, I want to be a shooting guard because I go with Kerry Hilson and I'm sexy. That's what it was. So they should have kept Harden, right? So he goes to Houston and he shows who the fuck he is. I still don't agree with no list when y'all talk about the 2010s decade and y'all put Harden above Russ. when y'all talk about all of this shit and you put Harden above Russ. I don't agree. Not even fucking close. James Harden is amazing. James Harden is not Russell Westbrook. But we gonna get to James Harden in the playoffs. Love Philly team. We gonna get there. We gonna get to James Harden in the playoffs. It is official, people. Now, can he still redeem himself? Yeah, they just tipped off. He got an opportunity right now in Cleveland to start the redeeming process. Do I have faith that he will? Absolutely not. I told everyone when Spider went to Cleveland, it was not going to work. He was going to stunt Darius Garland's growth as a first. While the whole world was going crazy over Harden coming to Cleveland, I'm sitting at the edge of my bed like, am I missing something? Since when did, oh, we got James Harden, now we're a championship contender? Since when has that been true? Is Spider as good as Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving when Harden joined them in Brooklyn? No. Is Spider as good as Joel Embiid when Harden joined him in Philadelphia? No. Spider isn't as good as Kawhi. He's better than PG was, but he's not as good as Kawhi when Harden joined them in LA. And Spider is good. Spider is like right outside the top 10 in the league. He's top 15 player. So I'm not dissing Spider. However, Spider with Harden, and y'all really have the audacity to be going strong? Fans, media, Vegas? What the fuck were y'all thinking? I said this was a disaster from the start, and I got the receipts to show it. I spoke on Spider, his 14 or so games of 35 points in the playoffs and 10 or so, or somewhere like 5-8 so with 40, and the 50-point games, the 60. But then on the flip side, 15-16 games where he shot 33% or below. I brought up Harden's numbers where that game Thursday night, that was the 30th game in James Harden's playoff career where he had more turnovers than he did field goals made. 30th. 30. The 30th game that James Harden had more turnovers than field goals made. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. The way, who was that trying to defend that shit? Was it Perk? Somebody was trying to defend that shit, and it was like, stop it. Just fucking stop it. There is no defense for this. That's your friend, and it wasn't Perk. But it was somebody like, no, stop it. Just fucking stop it. There's no defense for that. At halftime, he was 2 of 10. He was 2 of 10 at halftime. He finished the game 3 of 13. James Harden took 3 shots in the second half. He had 4 turnovers. In this series, he has 10 turnovers, 9 assists, what was the 11? He's 9 of 28 from the field. My bad. That's what it is. He has 10 turnovers. He's 9 of 28 from the field. So 10 turnovers, made 9 shots, and he has 11 assists in 2 games in the series. In their entire playoff series, the 9 games, he has, I believe it's 52 assists to 47 turnovers. Oh, no. 52 shots made to 47 turnovers. It's something like that. It's something like that. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking insane. It's crazy. He's the worst superstar playoff performer of all time. It ain't even close. It ain't even close, man. It's not even close. James Harden is the worst superstar playoff performer of all fucking time. Spider, he played well. But let's talk about Evan Mobley's soft ass. And you know what? He don't even deserve a whole block. because he had one fucking rebound. Evan Mobley had one rebound. I told y'all about this nigga, man. He had one rebound. One. One. One rebound for Evan Mobley. 9 points, one rebound. Next, Jalen Duren still ain't showed up. Duncan is helping out. Duncan and Tobias, they're answering the call for, Cade would need help to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, to get to the finals. Shout out to Duncan. Shout out to Tobias, the OG. Jalen Duren, I hope you drop your nuts today in Cleveland because they need you to show up eventually. The Knicks are up 3-0. Philly should have won game 2. They were gassed and just didn't have it late. And last night they were just hanging on, but they just couldn't get over the hump. Big Body Brunson. Big Body Brunson is being Big Body Brunson. He closing, he doing his thing. OG and Anunoby does not need to play. I don't feel no more this series because it's probably about to be over at 4. But even if it does go 5, OG still don't need to play. I would say even if it goes 6, you could think about bringing them back in 6, but OG, just let them rest. Because they don't need them. I mentioned the other day that Towns is playing the best ball of his playoff career, and he's not even shooting. He's taking 10 shots a game. He took 8 the other night in game 2. I don't know how many he took last night, but I know he didn't score a lot again. So here's the thing with Carl Anthony. As great as he's playing all around basketball because he's rebounding, and he's playmaking at a level he never has before. He still can't stop fouling. That's just a part of his game. And at some point, for the Knicks to have an opportunity, I don't feel the Knicks will win a championship. I said all season that this East this year was the Knicks to lose. The only challengers I had to the Knicks were the Celtics once Tatum came back, had he been fully healthy. Not 100%, but just, didn't get hurt again, which he did. And a healthy 76ers team, which they were healthy enough to beat Boston. They're not healthy enough to beat New York. So I've been right on the East. Only way I can be wrong on the East is because even if Philly come back and beat New York, it's going to be because they're healthy, so I'll still be right. So the only way I can be wrong on the East is if Detroit or Cleveland beats New York in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the only way to really be wrong there is if it's Cleveland, who's now down 0-2 to Detroit, who I've given absolutely no chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. So if they were to come back on on Detroit and win 4 of the next 6, or 4 in a row, whatever, to win that series and then beat the Knicks, then I'm completely wrong. No matter how much right I was thereafter, I was completely wrong in the East. But as long as Detroit holds on, does their thing, I think I had Detroit second in the East behind New York as far as probability to win if Philly wasn't healthy and Tatum didn't come back. Those two things happening, I propelled me to put Boston and Philly above Detroit, and Detroit, in that tied 3rd, 4th spot, type whatever. So my East predictions are holding true. West really wasn't hard to predict OKC. Um, I don't give a shit. Hell, let them, tell them to come holler at me. But yeah, man. Carl Anthony for the Knicks to win or have an opportunity to win against Detroit. Fuck getting to the finals against OKC, San Antonio, or the Lakers. Lakers in 7. Evan Mobley had 1 rebound. Carl Anthony Towns is going to have to become a scorer at some point. He's going to have to be more aggressive to look to score at some point. At some point, that is what they're going to need to win a game, a series, something from Carl Anthony Towns. But right now, no problem with how he's playing. He's playing the best playoff basketball of his career. OG had been their best player. Brunson had been big body. He'd been the leader. He'd been the closer. He'd been doing his thing. Let OG rest until you get to the Eastern Conference Finals. If you're New York, hope that Detroit, Cleveland take a while so OG get more rest. And yeah, man. So yeah, But Carl Anthony gonna have to be more aggressive at some point. But I called out Mikal Bridges. I said I wanted to see what Mikal Bridges does in game 2 and game 3. Game 1 didn't impress me. They won by 40. That game 6 against Atlanta didn't impress me. They won by 50. I said I want to see what you do in close games. Game 2, Philly should have won. Mikal had 18 solid points, very big time points. I think very efficient. He shot down there 70%, and he did the same thing in game 3 with 23 points. So shout out to Mikal Bridges for finally stepping up again. Not in that Atlanta game, not in game 1 against Philly, but in games 2 and games 3. Those were the games I called him out. I ain't said nothing about him the rest of the series, so let's see. I will say this: if he don't play good in game 4, we know why. Jody said it first because I only called him out for game 2 and game 3. Stephen A. Smith hollered at me. Maybe I can get y'all the championship from Mikal Bridges. So, Philly, Tyrese Maxey, I love you. You're on the verge of one day becoming a superstar, but your gap to getting there has gotten bigger because Tyrese Maxey, you have not been what you need to be. I'll answer that question before I get to the Spurs, Timberwolves. I'll answer that question. Thank you for that. Um, I like that's a great question. Um, Tyrese Maxey, you got to step up. You have to be better, man. Um, Game 1, Joel was out there. He was hobbled. It was rough. It was tough, right? Game 2, we said so many people were saying, man, they can play better with Joel. There's a difference between they can play faster and they can play more how they would enjoy rather than they can play better. And you saw that with all within game 2. They were having fun in the first 3 quarters. They were up and down. PG was off in the first quarter. But in that fourth quarter, when you needed that closer, you didn't have them. When you needed to be able to slow it down and go to Embiid every single possession, every single time, you didn't have it. You were gassed. You settled for threes. I believe at one point they were like 1 of 9 from the field, 0 of 7 from three in the fourth quarter. That's because they did not have Joel Embiid to go to, slow it down, back, fade, go up, get fouled, get to the line, or just cause attention and then he hit somebody for an open shot. Philly didn't have that at the end of game 2. They showed all of that talk that they are better without Embiid. No, you're misquoting yourself. You don't know what you're talking about. Joel Embiid, healthy, is still a top 10 player in this league, and he's closer to 5 than he is 10. Healthy. Healthy Joel Embiid, the Sixers have a legitimate shot. Um, Tyrese Maxey got to do more. I'm not gonna get on VJ. I'm not gonna get on PG for having great first quarters and then disappearing after. Tyrese Maxey, you have to do more. It's all on you. It's that simple. You have to be better because you have the talent. So you got to step up. Before we get into the Spurs and Wolves and end this, I'm gonna do something different on Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum later. My boy Got Dogs asks, what goes different for the Lakers to bounce back? Probably a lot of prayer, like a whole lot of prayer, um, and just fully giving ourselves to God and rebuking the Oklahoma City Thunder. One thing I've joked about that I don't really want to happen, but I said I want to shoot Shea in his knee. Like, not shoot him in his knee with like a gun, but just a BB gun. Just something just enough that'll have him sitting down for 2 weeks. That's it. If they still can get by us without Shea, I want Shea to be 100% for the Western Conference Finals. Go do your thing. But I just want to shoot him in his knee with a pellet. Just pop. Probably both. Pop. Probably two-tone. Pop, pop. And just make sure that he can't play against the Lakers somewhere. Because then we can put our focus on stopping somebody else. And we can actually beat these motherfuckers. They're a well-oiled machine. They're a well-oiled machine. Um, they're a well-oiled machine. Um, you know, I've said repeatedly, the top 5 coaches in the NBA are the 2 legends, Spo and Steve Kerr. After that is a guy who hasn't won the championship yet, and Chris Finch. And then I give it to Mike Dagenvall, whatever his name is in OKC. He's right above JJ. I believe JJ is top 5. in the league right now, and I believe he shows it consistently. But we just got to consistently knock down shots. The biggest thing, we have to stop turning the ball over. If we stop turning the ball over, we don't give them extra possessions. They pride themselves on getting deflections, playing strong full court defense, and causing turnovers. Because the more turnovers they cause, the more possessions they have. The more possessions you have, the more points you can score. The more points you can score, along with playing great defense, the better opportunity you have of winning the game. So number one for the Lakers, we have to take better care of the ball. That starts with LeBron and Austin, and then it continues. It trickles down from Smart to Aiden, everybody else. We gotta make our open shots that we get. Um, and honestly, bro, if we keep doing everything else that we've done, but we just turn around those two things, we cut the turnovers down. If we cut the turnovers in half, that's amazing. Because we cut them over. If we cut them down in half, we're only at about 10 turnovers a game. But even if we can cut it down to like 13, 14 turnovers a game, that's going to be helpful. And if we're making shots with that, we can win. We can at least turn this series around and make it a series. Because if we keep doing all the good we're doing, but turning the ball over and missing shots, we're probably going to get swept. But if we just turn those two things around with everything else we're doing, we can at least get two and push this to six. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Last night, Wembyama joined a list with only Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He had 35 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks, and those weren't even his numbers. He had 38, but those were the bare minimum numbers. Those are the only four players who's had games like that in NBA history in the playoffs. 35 points at least 15 rebounds, and at least 5 blocks. Vic, Shaq, Hakeem, Kareem. Refer back to what I said at the beginning of the video. As great as Vic's game, guess what? Somebody else had a great game. Anthony Edwards. I think Ant had 32 points, 14 rebounds, and like 6 assists. And he was efficient. Ant was balling. Julius has to be better. Julius had 12 points and 6 rebounds. Julius, you got to be better for Ant, bro. Ant deserves more. He deserves more. J Mac is doing his thing. J Mac can't be the second best player for Ant when Ant goes off. Um, you can't depend on Conley and Nas Reed to be top players when Ant goes off. You know what I'm saying? Julius Randle has to do better. He has to do more. 12 and 6 is not going to cut it. Wemby had his monster game, and what did he have to support it? I think Stephon Castle had 13 points and 12 assists. Champagne had 12 rebounds. Vassell had 13 points. The both of them had 2 steals apiece. De'Aaron Fox had like 17 and 6. Wemby had his team follow his great lead and did not. And that's why they lost. Um, there go my mom and my son. So yeah, man, Julius definitely has to step up. He has to help out Wemby. I mean, he has to help out Ant and the Spurs. Man, they got 8 closers and 8 starters. You got Wemby, Fox, Castle, Champagne, Vassell. That's 5. You got Barnes. You got Harper. You got Kendall Johnson. That's 8. Like they have an 8-person rotation that they can end any game with at any given time. Like that's like 16 different lineups. It's incredible. So Julius Randle, you the second best player on that team. You got to be that. You can't put that on Slim. Question about Slim, J Mac, Jaden McDaniel. Is he the thinnest enforcer in NBA history? I know that back in the 80s and shit, you had some short guys that was below 200 pounds that was tough guys. Shout out to Vernon Maxwell, Mad Max. But Jaden McDaniels is a legit 6'7", and he only weigh about 180, 185. But that nigga's a real live enforcer. Like he a real live enforcer on that team. You know what I'm saying? More so than the big man, more so than Rudy, more so than Nas, even more so than Julius. Julius ain't no bitch, but J Mac is the enforcer for that team, and that's a question I have that I hope those comments don't delete. Got dogs, man. Put your comments after I post the video because for some reason they gonna delete. I hate it. I gotta figure this shit out. I gotta figure this out. I gotta holler at my boy Al Bloom. I need him to help me out with figuring this out. Ronnie, if you know, I need somebody to help me out because everybody gonna look at this and they gonna say I'm talking to nobody because those comments are gonna be disappeared. I hate that shit. And then sometimes it don't even let me comment. But yeah, man. We're gonna get in here, see what the Cavs and Pistons looking like, seeing if the Pistons got that killer instinct. If the Pistons got what the Spurs showed they had. I gotta speak on that real quick. This is inexcusable. This is unexplainable. The San Antonio Spurs are too young and too inexperienced to be able to do what they did last night. Bouncing back in game two at home after you lose game one and winning by 40, that's cool. I get that. I can see that happening. But then to be tied at one, going into a hostile environment on the road and deciding we're not going to lose, deciding we're about to take this 2-1 lead on the road, and as calm as they were throughout a good game, as much as the moment wasn't too big for them, that was masterful. And a team that young ain't supposed to be able to do that. So Detroit, that's the challenge to y'all because y'all are the other team who's in that type of position. Will Detroit have that killer instinct to go up 3-0? Right? New York, they up 3-0. You want to have just as much rest as they gonna have. So I don't know the score. I'm not in there yet. It's just the first quarter still. It might be the second quarter by now. But can Detroit have the wherewithal to have the killer instinct to put Cleveland away, to go up 3-0 and have Cleveland facing elimination, getting swept in game four? It's 34-31 Cavs right now. So Cleveland's coming out how they should. So we just need to see how Detroit is going to answer that the rest of the game. Are they going to be satisfied being up 2-1? Are they going to let Cleveland tie this at 2 and we got a whole new series? Or are they going to have the killer instinct to go up 3-0? Jalen Duren, it starts with you. You have to do more. You have to help out Cade. But as long as Duncan and Tobias, are doing their job and their part in helping them out, maybe you don't. But the same way Carl Anthony gonna have to step up as a scorer at some point for New York. Jalen Duren gonna have to step up as an All NBA performer at some point for Detroit if Detroit wants to get to their ultimate goal. Because 60 wins, Detroit not happy getting to the second round, and I don't think they'll be happy getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, especially facing the Knicks, because that's who Detroit's been motivated to face all year. They've been motivated to take out the Knicks all year. So seeing that they don't see the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals, Detroit's motivation is to get to the NBA Finals. So Jalen Duren, you need to step your shit up. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all later, man.